What did you say? Government would grow and liberty would
and
sink.
liberty would shrink. He predicted that in one of his famous correspondence that he had with John Adams shortly before the two of them died.
Yeah.
And he was right.
Yep. And that's why, of course, we have this T-shirt that anybody could get. Hey, politicians.
Right.
Yep. And that's, you go to trendsjournal.com and you get it on the shop. No, I'm heartbroken. And the people have lost their fight. And again, look at our good friend, Scott Ritter, blacklisted.
Taken off of YouTube because he cites accurate, as far as we can tell, data and statistics showing that the Russians are going to win the war, that Ukraine can't possibly survive this onslaught. And for that, he's being silenced.
Yep.
Now, YouTube is a private entity, and they can discriminate on the basis of the content of speech, unless they're doing the government's bidding.
Which they are.
If his former bosses, the CIA, ask if, I don't know this happened, if the CIA or any entity in the government asked YouTube to take him down, then we have a very, very serious constitutional violation.
It's gone. Listen, all the news, by the way, people, this is summertime and the living is easy. And people don't have a clue what's going on, even during non-summertime, but now they're totally tuned out. But all the news day after day is about Trump. So tell me, what's going on with this?
Well, a grand jury in Fulton County, Georgia, that's Atlanta, indicted Trump and 18 others on a conspiracy charge. By the way, they cite a statute which will aggravate you and me because it's a statute written to attack the mob, and it has an Italian name to the statute. The statute is called RICO, which is an Italian nickname for somebody named Enrico, Henry. Italian, but RICO stands for Racketeer Influence Corrupt Organization Act, a Nixon era statute used to bankrupt the mob. So if a crime family extorted $1 million from a legitimate businessman, the feds could sue the crime family for 3 times the amount extorted under this RICO statute, give the businessman his $1 million, and seize $2 million from the mob in an effort to put it out of business. The prosecutor who did this most effectively and publicly in his career was Rudy Giuliani. Rudy is now a defendant in this RICO case.
Good.
Arguing that Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani and 17 others, so 19 in all, engaged in a plot to trick the government into thinking that Donald Trump won Georgia and Joe Biden lost it. How did they do it? Well, when you vote for president, even though you see the name there, Donald Trump, Joseph Biden, you're not actually voting for them, either of them. You're voting for electors pledged to them. Each state has the same number of electors as it has members of Congress. So Georgia has 14 members of the House and 2 members of the Senate. They have 16 electors. New Jersey has 13 electors, 11 in the House, 2 in the Senate. The electors chosen by popular vote in Georgia were the Democrat electors pledged to vote in the Electoral College for Joe Biden. Biden won the state after 2 recounts, supervised by a Republican governor and a Republican Secretary of State by 11,780 votes. Notwithstanding that, Giuliani and Trump got 16 Republicans to sign documents swearing under oath that they were the electors, that they had been elected. They filed those documents with the Secretary of State of Georgia. They filed them with the United States Senate. Those documents were all perjury. 4 of those 12 were indicted with Trump. Of those 16 were indicted with Trump. What happened to the other 12? They got immunity. They're going to testify against Trump and against Giuliani. This is their nightmare. 12 of their own Confederates are going to testify against them. Now, that's the case in a nutshell. It's 95 pages long. There are 19 defendants. There are 30 unindicted, unnamed, uncharged co-conspirators. There are 91 different crimes charged there, but that's it in a nutshell. A scheme to trick the Senate of the United States of America into counting illegal, illicit electoral votes that were not validly chosen. How Giuliani thought he could get away with this is beyond me. And then they've got texts and emails and transcripts of conversations. If she can prove, the prosecutor, if she can prove half of what's in the indictment, Giuliani and Trump will be in jail probably for the rest of their lives. They're both in their late 70s.
Wow.
That's what happened at 11 o'clock on Monday night. I was on Newsmax from 9 until midnight. I was wiped the next day.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is serious then. It's not.
I think this is more serious than the federal indictments. I think it's easy for a jury to understand, and it's immune from a presidential pardon. The president cannot interfere with a state prosecution or pardon. Excuse me, anyone convicted under in a state court. So he's got four indictments. In my opinion, those cases are all going to come to trial before the Republican National Convention, which is 11 months from now. 11 months from now is the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. I think it's in Milwaukee. All four of those cases are going to be tried before that. He's going to be spending all of his time in a courtroom.
Yeah.
Is he spending his own money defending himself? No, he's using politically raised PAC money to pay his legal bills. His legal bills so far, $40 million.
Holy Christ.
$40 million. Who could afford this other than somebody like Trump?
Well, I just read something where Giuliani's going broke from trying to get lawyers to defend him.
Yes. Yes.
And, again, in looking at the big picture here, you said the convention is coming up in 11 months. Who do you think is going to be then the Republican presidential candidate?
I think the Republicans are crazy enough to go with Trump. And if they do, that, in my opinion, will assure a Biden victory. Biden is one of the worst presidents ever, and certainly the worst president since George W. But the only way he gets reelected is if the focus is not on him and his horrible stewardship of the executive branch, but on Trump's personality, character, and alleged criminality. And if the Republicans are foolish enough to nominate Trump, they're going to give Joe Biden, who can barely put two sentences together.
I know.
That's how diminished he is. They're going to give him another term in the White House. Now, maybe the Democrats recognize how bad Joe is. Maybe Bobby Kennedy will pull a rabbit out of a hat. I don't know.
You think they'll put up another guy like Gavin Newsom?
He's the one that's supposedly waiting in the wings. They really would like Mrs. Obama, but apparently she didn't like her 8 years in the White House, and she doesn't want another 4.
Besides, now they're multi-millionaires.
They are.
Isn't that great, huh? You come from nothing, and look at all the dough you get when you become president. All you have to look at as Bill and Hillary Clinton, a little Billy of nothing, a little nothing of a boy. A little nothing of a boy that sold this country out in so many ways. Oh, the Bill Clinton that got us NAFTA, sucked our jobs out to the cheap labor in Mexico. Oh, the slimy Bill Clinton that did away with the Glass-Steagall Act so the banksters could get bigger. Oh, you were talking about the RICO Act before? Hey, we got to get them Italians. Oh, yeah, but Wells Fargo, Citigroup, JP Morgan with 5 felonies convicted? Hey, Celente, you're just a little guinea. These are very important people. They can rob all the money you want. Oh, you remember, once upon a time, not too long ago, there was this person by the name of Jesus Christ who drove the money changers out of the temple.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful cover.
Yep.
Is that Jamie Dimon being hit with the whip?
Yeah. This is the hypocrisy of this nation.
Yes.
It's right in front of everybody's eyes.
Yes.
They are robbing us of our freedom. freedom of speech, freedom to think for yourself, and a crime syndicate is running the country.
Yes. The crime syndicate is called the government.
Yep.
And it lies, cheats, steals, and kills with impunity.
Lies, the government lies, steals, cheats with impunity. America. And as you said a couple of weeks ago, where are the people? Where are the people? Where are the people joining our fight?
Where is the outrage when the FBI announces we only spied on 278,000 people illegally? Don't worry about it. It was only 278,000, and don't worry who you are because we didn't tell anybody. Where is the outrage when the Gestapo breaks into a small town newspaper in order to further the chief and the restaurateur's political vendetta against a reporter there? Where is the outrage as freedom dies by 1,000 little cuts?
Freedom dies by 1,000 little cuts. Well, we're doing what we can do. You know, critical care nurses say that the greatest regret of dying people is they didn't become the person they said they could have become or did what they really wanted to do. They got sucked into the system for whatever reason and never became themselves. So at least you and I will get out of here on a high note because we're fighting. And all you other people out there that are doing nothing, the future's in your hands. Do what you want with it. Thanks, Judge, for being here. Thank you for all you're doing. God bless you. And God bless America in the truest sense. Thank you.
Thank you, Gerald. Thank you. All the best.